With the trade deadline coming up and the Toronto Raptors literally being the hottest team in the entire NBA, it's looking like they should probably make a deal to show that they're buyers and go out and get a big 7-foot center who can help them with a lot of their main weaknesses this season. This is a team right now who's sitting 5 games over 500 in the 6th seed in the Eastern Conference, overperforming expectations, and on a 5-game winning streak with those 5 wins coming against the top seed in the Eastern Conference, the Miami Heat, twice, the 2nd seed in the Eastern Conference, the Chicago Bulls, once, and another very hot team in the Atlanta Hawks twice. This team is excelling right now. They're looking very good. They're hitting their stride, but it's no secret that one of their big weaknesses this season has been defensive rebounding, as they rank dead last in the league in this category. Some big interior rim protection on defense and scoring some points in the paint offensively. They really do need that big 7-foot center, and I really did like their kind of switchable style of defense going into the season and at the start of the season, but it's no secret that they're definitely lacking some size and it's hurting them a little bit, especially with things like rebounding. So in today's video, I'm going to discuss 5 possible big 7-foot centers that the Raptors could target this trade deadline and should try to get before this trade deadline to help their push towards potentially a little bit of a run this season and maybe even winning a playoff series this year. So let's get into who those centers are and why the Raptors should trade for them. So first up, we've got Miles Turner, and this is a guy who has been in trade talks with the Raptors for really the last little bit, and I really want the Raptors to pull the trigger on this deal. I mean, they would probably have to give up quite a bit to get Miles Turner, a guy whose value is pretty high right now, but he could definitely provide a lot for this team that they're looking for, especially with his amazing interior defense. And Turner has really over the last 2 years developed into one of the better rim protectors in the NBA. Last year and this year, he's led the entire NBA in blocks per game. Last year with about 3.5 per game, and this year with almost 3 per game. And his overall shot blocking ability and rim protection ability has been very good. His presence on the defensive end of the floor on the interior really has an effect on your whole defense. And while he's not very switchable, which doesn't exactly fit into the Raptors style, if Nick Nurse with his genius defensive mind can find a way to keep Miles Turner in the paint, whether that's playing something like a zone defense or whatever he's able to come up with, if they can keep him in the paint and have the rest of their defense be kind of that switchable style where everyone can pretty much guard everyone and just have Turner be the main rim protector, the Raptors could potentially have one of the best defensive systems in the NBA. So he could provide a lot there. Turner's also a pretty good pick and roll defender. He didn't used to be from what I saw, but he's definitely developed into one, so he could provide a lot there. And then offensively, he would be good for the offensive flow of this team as well, as you can throw the ball to him down low and in the post. He can be a decent lob threat. He's shooting about 51% from the field this season, and he's also really developed that 3-point shot of his, as he can pop out to the top of the key for 3. He's shooting 33.3% from 3 this season on about 4.5 attempts per game, which is definitely above average for the center position, so he can provide a lot there. The only thing I don't like about Miles is how he's definitely not a good rebounder at the center position. For example, this year he only has a rebound percentage of 13%, which is definitely low for a center position, and only 7 rebounds per game, which again is low for the center position. But if he can provide interior defense for this team and help them there, it would definitely be worth pulling the trigger on a deal for the Raptors. Next up, we got Jakob Hertl, and Hertl used to play for the Raptors a couple years ago, but ever since he's gone to San Antonio, he's developed into a completely different player, and in my opinion, you can probably classify him as a top 12 or 13 center in the NBA right now. He does a great job of playing that traditional center role, doing what he's asked to do offensively, of being a good screener, a good lob threat, and grabbing offensive rebounds, and then defensively, he truly is one of the best defenders in the NBA right now. He's a great interior presence, a pretty good rebounder, and is exactly what the Raptors need right now. This new version of Jakob Hertl, who's also, I forgot to mention, a really good passer for a center offensively. This could definitely be a very good fit for the Raptors. His size will definitely help them. Overall, what he provides on the defensive end of the floor is definitely very good. He can definitely do a better job than he did when he was first with the Raptors of switching onto the perimeter and guards, especially when they are driving towards the rim. He's a good pick and roll defender. He can protect the rim very well. He does a great job of going up vertically when he's meeting guys at the rim. He's a good shot blocker, is averaging 1.7 blocks per game so far this season, and overall 9 rebounds per game. Again, he's not a great defensive rebounder, definitely better than Miles Turner, and he could definitely take the Raptors out of being in the dead last spot in defensive rebounds per game this season. So he can provide a lot there. And then offensively, like I said, he just plays the role of being a traditional center very well. He shoots 62% from the field, very efficient. He's a good lob threat, good in the pick and roll, can get easy baskets around the rim when you need him to, clean up the glass offensively, provide some offensive rebounding, and he's a very good screener and allows his offense to flow well. He's actually second in the entire NBA in both screen assists per game and screen assist points, only behind Rudy Gobert in both categories here. So Hertl would definitely provide a lot of what the Raptors are looking for with kind of this new and improved version of him. And if he got traded back to the Raptors, there's been rumors actually of a trade possibly evolving around him and Doug McDermott, where going the other way would be Precious Achiuwa, Goran Dragic, Malachi Flynn, and some picks. I think this would definitely be good for the Raptors. They don't need a lot of those guys that I talked about, and that would be going the other way, and Hertl can provide a lot for them, not only now but in the future as well. Next up, we got Robert Williams of the Celtics, and this is a guy who hasn't exactly been in trade rumors with the Raptors, but it has come out that they would like to get him, and Robert Williams has been in trade discussions in general, and he would be literally the perfect fit for the Raptors. He's everything they need, a great rebounder, one of the best interior defenders in the entire NBA, a good screener, a great lob threat offensively, literally the most efficient scorer in the NBA, shooting almost 75% from the field, only does exactly what he's asked to do. Offensively, just be a lob threat, be good in the pick and roll, and then defensively, that's where his main value comes. Like I said, being a good pick and roll defender, just like pretty much all these guys I'm discussing, an amazing rim protector, and he's really one of those guys that has more of a presence off or defensively than almost anyone in the league. Like when he's in the paint, a lot of guys get scared when they see him in the paint. They're gonna kick it out on the perimeter to other guys on their team because they don't want to go up against Robert Williams at the rim, and other defenders on the team can stick to their man more because they know that Williams can hold down the paint. So his defensive ability really has an effect on the whole team. This is exactly what the Raptors need, is that big interior presence that can not only be that rim protector but also be a great defensive rebounder, and he is also one of the best rebounders in the NBA, so he'd be a perfect fit for them. If you guys want more of my in-depth analysis on Robert Williams, be sure to check out the video I made recently on why I think he's literally the most underrated player in the NBA, because I went in depth with my analysis on him there, and overall he'd just be a perfect fit for this team. For the fourth player the Raptors should go after here, we got Mo Bamba, and this is a really interesting player here. Obviously a guy who had a lot of trouble getting his NBA career started. He had a lot of hype coming into the league, and Sheck West made a whole song about him that became one of, if not the most popular songs in the whole world. But that's not the point. Mo Bamba had some trouble getting his career started because of injury, but he's really gotten it started this year. He's played his role well for the Magic. He's averaging 10 points, 8 rebounds, and 2 blocks per game, and has really shown his overall value, especially on the defensive end of the floor, being that shot blocker and rim protector that scouts expected him to be. And he's so young and has so much potential that he would really fit the direction that the Raptors are going in as a franchise as well. And you might say that he obviously fits the direction of the franchise the Orlando Magic are going in as well, but they have come out and said that they are willing to trade him even for as little as just a first round pick. And I mean, it does kind of make sense. I mean, they do have a guy like Wendell Carter Jr. who could be their main kind of starting center moving forward, but Mo Bamba is on the trading block. The Magic have come out and said that, and he would fit really well with the Raptors. If they only had to give up something like a first-round pick and maybe a second-round pick along with that, and not actually give up any players on their current roster, he would definitely be a really good fit for this team, with his ability offensively to be that lob threat and that big presence and play in the post a little bit down there. He can stretch it out and shoot that three, as we've seen, which the Raptors have a lot of three-point shooting in their offense. He could definitely help contribute to that. And then defensively and rebounding the ball, I mean, he's grabbing 8 rebounds per game in only 26 minutes per game. This is something that is definitely going to be a big part of what the Raptors need. It could provide a lot of success for them if he comes in there, grabs some consistent defensive rebounds that they really need, and be that interior presence defensively that they need, and I've talked about as well throughout this video, not to mention that he's extremely young as well. So another great fit for the team here, and this is a guy, like I mentioned, who they wouldn't have to potentially give up that much for as well. This could be definitely a very good option for the Raptors this trade deadline. Now lastly, we've got Nicholas Claxton, and this is another guy here who I think is one of the most underrated players in the entire league. The Brooklyn Nets, especially with their recent skid and not having Kevin Durant and having chemistry problems, they got to give Claxton some more playing time when he comes back from injury. I mean, this is a guy who could be just as good as some of the other guys I discussed, like Robert Williams, Jakob, Hertl. He just has so much potential defensively, and something you're going to hear me say a lot on the channel when I talk about traditional centers is how they're lob threats, and how a lot of them do a good job of running the pick and roll and rolling towards the basket effectively to get baskets around there, easy baskets, and that's why they're so efficient. But Claxton's different because you can see when he plays, he is more athletic, or much more athletic than the common center in this league, and he could fit into the Raptors offensive system very well. He's a very smart player as well, and the fact that he can provide that big interior presence defensively and be that rebounder for them as well, everything that they're looking for, plus he has loads of potential offensively and really just as an overall defender as well. Under the Raptors development system, this is an amazing fit, and I think a lot of fans across the league are sleeping on the potential of Nicholas Claxton, how good of a player he can be, and I think he's flying under the radar. So this is another underrated guy that the Raptors could get to solve a lot of their problems and potentially develop into kind of a rising star in this league, to be honest. So there you have it. Those are 5 big centers over 7 feet tall that I think the Raptors should target this trade deadline to really solve some of their problems and help their push towards not only a better future and the great direction that this franchise is going in, but potentially making even a push this year and trying to win a playoff series this year. So that's what I think about who the Raptors should target. Those are the 5 centers I think they should go after. Make sure you guys leave your thoughts in the comment section below, who you think the Raptors should go after, and your thoughts on today's video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next video.